Lovely seeing you, Sania. Thank you so much for joining us. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Thank you. The only thing I've been told by NASCOM today is that if you can get the energy in the room 3x, I'll get paid. So can I please say, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. We're going to put some decibel meters here, so they're going to test before and after. So please make sure that you do better next time. All right? I'm rarely at loss of words, and this is the first time I'm using cue card in my entire life. So you can imagine how nervous I am. Any doctors in the audience? Any doctor, medical doctor, not PhD doctors, I'm sure there are many of them. Okay, sorry, I think I'll have to have one on record. I think I have this super privilege today of talking to all of you about a world-class athlete, superstar. We heard so many things about your accomplishments, Sania. Thank you so much for doing all that for our country, and we are super, super proud of you. I'm talking about Sania, who's with aces on her court, but also very good with aces on the stage, I've seen. So I'm looking forward to some aces which I'm going to duck. Hopefully, I manage to survive. I think Sania depicts the epitome of strength, courage, determination, and never giving up attitude. So that's somebody who we have with us. So thank you so much, Sania, for sharing your time with us.
Thank you.
Now you must be wondering, who am I? Okay, some of you got the introduction saying I work for KPMG. That's my part-time job. I've got something else to do. So I've got basically 3 ways I'll introduce myself. But before I do that, I'm going to tell you that I am less in every aspect compared to Sania. Okay? I get paid less, for sure. I work less. I also have less fame. I also have less follower on Instagram. So I'm less in everything. And by the way, I'm also less than you in age. I've been here working. My professional experience is just about 25 years. And I think here's Sania. Your professional experience is?
20 years, so you're more.
I think you are 31 years. You don't remember you started playing at 6. So I didn't mean the pro.
Professionally, I started 20 years ago.
Professionally, okay. Do you think I'm doing something stuff professionally? I'm just sometimes experimenting with my clients the way you did that when you were experimenting with the ball and the crack it to the court. So definitely, but I'll tell you 3 things about myself. And the first thing is that I think, let me tell you a story before I tell you about who am I. A person was to be operated, and the doctor comes to him, to this old man, and the doctor comes and says, Ramlal, don't worry. Everything will be fine. It's a very small operation. Don't worry. And the person says, Doctor, my name is not Ramlal. He says, of course I know. My name is Ramlal. And this is my first operation I'm going to do. So Ramlal, don't worry. Everything will be okay. So today, I'm going to say that all is well. All is well. Hopefully, everything will be well today. The second thing, which I'm sure some of you, have any of you attended the Delhi wedding where there's a guy with a microphone and sings songs in a band? All right? One thing which you may not have known, but I'll tell you that that person doesn't get paid for the number of hours he or she sings. He gets paid on the number of songs she or he finishes in that time. And that's why they sing very, very fast. You must have heard their tempo is like 3x. So I'm going to speak very fast because I've been given that you can count as many number of words, but you should be able. So my time on screen is for very less. So I'm going to be sounding like that person who's going to be playing in that Delhi wedding and going very fast. And the third one is that I'm also very good at racket sport because I live in Gurgaon. And that's my racket sport. I'm very good at my forehand. And I can ace many, many, many mosquitoes. So all right, so with that, me being out of the way here, this is a very nice racket, which Sania, don't worry, will not let you play with this because it will break down. Before I actually go down to her accomplishment, I want to talk to you a little bit about tennis. So Sania, tell us about how different tennis is from cricket, which we all seem to know about. I don't think that we love it as much. We love tennis more.
Well, first of all, good afternoon, everyone. He's finally let me speak, so... I thought I had an easy job. I just had to come and sit on stage, but no. Tennis is different. Well, it's an individual sport. Okay, when you actually watch us play on the court, you think it's an individual sport. But actually, tennis is also a very big team sport because we are there only for those 2 hours. But for us to be there for those 2 hours and perform our best, the team that is behind us, in the box, at home, the doctors, the psychologists, the coaches, the trainers, the physios, tennis actually becomes a really big team sport. So I think it's a little bit of a misconception that people think that tennis is very individual. We're only solving problems individually on the court. But for us, in order for us to be at our best, there's an entire team that goes over the last 10, 15, 20 years. So I think that's probably the biggest difference, where in cricket you have a team on the field while you're playing, so you can try and solve issues with each other and with each other's support. But in tennis, you have to you're on your own just on the court.
One of the things which I've heard from people saying that, tennis is a lot more intense. So one, you said it's a team sport, which doesn't look like team sport. And I was doing my own research.
Don't tell a cricketer that, huh? That you think tennis is more intense.
There are no cricketers in this room. We made sure that they were all thrown away.
Okay,
Right? So we are all got tennis players today. So you don't think that tennis is more intense than cricket?
I'm a tennis player. I think so. I'm just saying, don't tell the cricketer that. Yeah.
Okay. So I think just some of the things which I was reading, that the speed of ball, the highest speed of the ball which we see in the cricket deliveries, goes about maybe 160, 170 kilometers an hour. And I think that's not as fast as you put your rackets in.
I think that you cannot compare apples and oranges. That's really what it is. I don't think you can sit there and say this is worse and this is better, or this is a harder sport. I think that, sure, there's probably 200 countries that play tennis, and there's not that many countries that play cricket, but there's 1.3 billion people trying to get to those 11 places. So, I mean, there's no actual comparison there, right? Because the competition is high no matter what. So there's no harder or more intense or less intense. I think what you do, and to play international level of sport and to be the best at it, it doesn't come without the highest level of intensity, no matter what sport you play.
Perfect. So we are going to say that right now for the audience, that cricket is good, but tennis is better, but they are not comparable, apples and oranges. All right.
That's what you're saying?
Yeah. I'm okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to stick to that one for more. Tell him, how did tennis happen to you?
Tennis actually happened to me a little bit by accident, a little bit by destiny. We tried to live in America when I was younger, just before I started playing tennis, which was a long time ago. And to cut the long story short, we couldn't afford for me to play tennis when we were in America. So when we moved back to India, we could, obviously at that point, it was 250 rupees for the month. This is 30 years ago. So my mom was like, you know what? My daughter used to cry to play tennis. I'm going to make her play tennis, skate, swim. So I literally did every sport that we could afford at that point. And that's how tennis sort of happened. And I happened to be slightly better at tennis than the other things that I did.
How did you discover that?
How I was better?
Yeah.
I think it happened gradually. I didn't, obviously I was 6 years old, so my sense of that was not a lot. But my parents saw the talent, the coach that I was with saw the talent. I mean, 30 years ago, for a girl from Hyderabad, from a middle class family, to say that, oh, one day we want to play Wimbledon, was absurd, and it was actually comical to most people. And I don't really blame them for laughing at us, because it had never happened before. But the fact is that we saw a dream as a family, and I think I honestly believed that this was meant for me when I was 12 years old. When I won the nationals on the same day of under 14, under 16, and I was 12, and I was like, maybe I'm okay at this, maybe I should take this more seriously. Until then, I was a bit of a bookworm. I wanted to study. So it was a very gradual thing. It was not like we sat there one day and said, okay, from today we'll be a professional tennis player.
Understand. Do you think you're gifted, or you're somebody who's just practiced and gotten better at this?
I don't think that there's only one ingredient to success in sport, especially. I think you have to be gifted, you have to be talented, you have to work hard, you need commitment, you need to be very stubborn, because you need to do things day in, day out for years and years before you actually see the results that come. And you also need to be lucky. And I think it is very important. You have to acknowledge that when you get an opportunity, you grab that opportunity. There are many people who get opportunities and they're not able to grab it. And there are many people who don't get the opportunity and don't have the luck. So you need a bit of everything, in my opinion.
I like that. I think many times we blame a lot of things to others, but I think luck has a part to play, but that's not the only thing. But luck does have a part to play, maybe timing.
Yeah, it's destiny in many ways, but you have to put the right things in there. You can't just be like, well, I'm not going to put the work in, but I'm not lucky. I mean, it doesn't work like that. I mean, the harder you get, the luckier you get, right? That's the saying. So you got to keep working at it. You have to be resilient. You have to be committed. You have to put in those sacrifices, those hours, and then you have to hope that you are going to peak at the right time. So, if you peak at a Grand Slam, in our case, in our language, that's the best thing that can happen in our life, right? Because that's what we are working towards.
So you said that you were a bit, maybe you had all the ingredients of being successful, you worked hard, you had the right timing. But let's say if you had one superpower, what would you do to yourself?
Like on the court?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'd become Roger Federer.
That's a good one. We've heard enough about, every player has their own unique style. And I was reading about what you call your grip and how did you get it. So would you share some story about that?
Yeah, I don't know how many people play tennis here. Does anybody play tennis in this room? Oh, that's okay. Okay, a few. So you can explain it to your friends when I say this now, because it's quite technical actually. There is different kinds of grips that you have in tennis, where you have a shake hand grip, which is continental, which is what they used to play in the 50s, 60s, 70s. As tennis progressed, the game, the equipment, everything progressed. The top spin came into play. It used to be very, very basic at that point. The grip kind of started changing, so it went from shake hand to this way, which looks really uncomfortable actually when I hold it, but that's exactly how I hold my tennis racket and hit a forehand. I used to have it's called a Western grip, so I had a very Western grip, and because of which I've had wrist surgery, because I've had such an extreme grip on my forehand. But that's also my biggest strength, and I think I wouldn't have the forehand if I didn't have that grip. So, yeah.
That's an interesting. So I think really sometimes we all tend to emulate others and we say, let's copy everybody. I think I like the way you identified your own unique style and worked with it.
Yeah, I think that we all have to, whatever we do, we have to recognize our strength. And your strength might be different to mine, and mine might be different to yours. But you have to kind of play, in my language, play and consolidate the strengths that you have, and kind of recognize what they are and work on them. I mean, I can't, want to do something like you just because you do it well. I still need to find why I need to do it and how can I do it the best to my ability.
Play, learn, and consolidate. I think that's the right way. We all do that in our industry as well. We make some progress, consolidate, move on, consolidate. So thank you so much. I don't know how many of you know, actually Sania is just not a tennis player. Of course, you're retired now, but you're also a host of a celebrity show, which I'm sure if you haven't watched, you must watch. It's a great show. And I was watching that show, I realized that, you put a lot of people at a little bit of discomfort. Can you do that to you? Can we play the same thing?
Not a lot of men have said that to me, but okay.
All right. Okay, so the segment is that we are going to have Sania multitask with us, and we'll give her a small racket, not tennis racket. We couldn't afford that. Maybe we should have more sponsors next time. Sorry about that. Can I have the table tennis racket? We'll ask her to tap the ball. You keep the ball in the air, which I'm sure you do that all the time. That's where it is. And I'm going to ask you some...
So I have to tap the ball, hold the mic?
No. I'll hold the mic. Maybe I'll hold the mic for you.
Okay.
Okay, and you just tap the ball and we are going to... Yeah, you can stand. Okay. All right. And I don't have to do it. No. I'll fail before I start. No, one. Okay. All right. So the first question, and listen to the question. Okay, you keep doing it. Which month of the year has 20 days in it?
20?
28 days. Which month has 28 days? Wrong answer. All the months have 28 days in a month. Okay, all right. The second one, and as you start to tap, all right.
I'm not getting that answer?
No. All the months have 28 days. Okay, which word in Oxford Dictionary is spelled incorrectly? Wonderful. That's a good answer. Incorrectly. Round of applause, please. Thank you so much. The next one. When you multiply all the numbers on your telephone pad, what is the total answer?
Wow. I don't know.
You don't know? Anybody in the audience? Zero. Because there's a zero. You multiply anything with zero, you get a zero. All right? Okay. And... Okay, all right. No tapping, but you can please. Okay. You can. Last question. Three lit.
Is there any normal questions or no?
Okay, the next one I'll switch to the questions on Java programming. So, okay, simple question. Three little monkeys sitting on a tree.
I'm enjoying this.
Yeah. All right, you can sit down. You can sit down. But I'll ask the question. Three little monkeys sitting on the top of a tree.
KISSING.
No. It's a decent audience.
What do you mean? I say that to my son.
Yeah. Okay, I used to that. Three little monkeys sitting on the top of a tree. One of them decides to jump. How many are left?
3.
Very good. All three of them left because only one of them decided to jump and did not jump. So, very good answer. Very good answer. Okay, that was a good fun round. By the way, I'm going to have the next round, which is
I
even
keep doing
better.
this, or?
You can keep doing it. Okay. Yeah. The next round will be even better, but I have some serious questions before we get on to that. And the last round will be where you will participate and answer some questions. So get ready with your Mentimeter phones, and we'll get there. Nothing comes easy, and I think something like your sport is super difficult. So I think it's a very, very difficult sport. Tell us a little bit about some of these challenges and sacrifices, and how did you overcome them?
Well, I mean, as a lot of people would understand, especially women, I think that I don't think that as soon as a girl is born in a household, sport is really the career that people choose for them, right? Like they're not like, oh, we have a daughter, let's make her a cricketer or a tennis player. I mean, when a boy is born, sure, that is said more often than not. So imagine that 30 years ago, right? That was multiplied by hundreds and thousands. So when my family said that, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, they really thought that, we were mad. They were like, so what do you think? And ironically, at that point, Martina Hingis was 15 and she was winning a lot. And everybody's like, what do you think? She's going to play with Martina Hingis? Do you think she's going to win? And amazingly enough, the things that I was able to achieve, Martina and myself, that's why I say destiny, right? I think just the societal do's and don'ts that are laid for young girls, especially in this part of the world, make it very challenging because when you think and want to do things that are outside of the box, especially 30 years ago, as young women and young girls, we are more often than not told that we're told more often that you can't do something rather than you can. So the minute I say something like, I want to do something that is not been done before, they're like, no, but you can't do it. Why do you think you can do it? Why do you think you're that person who's going to do it? So we're dealing with that as young women. We're dealing with the on-court actual work and the actual battles on the court. And then we're dealing with the cultural and social stigmas attached to it. That, ladki hai, ladko ke saath khelegi, kali ho jayegi. I mean, that kind of stuff happens. Every woman is nodding here because everybody's heard that at some point in their lives. I have also heard it. When I was 12, 13, we all have those mamas and mausis and khalas and everybody who are like, ab khel liya na, ab kya ladko ke saath jaake khelegi, chaddi pen ke khelegi. They're like, ye to sab ladko ke kaam hai. And this is something that we deal with obviously a lot more than, the West. So this is slowly going, but you're dealing with on-court battles. You're dealing with playing on cow dung courts because there is actually no other courts to play on. You're dealing with cultural stigmas and fighting those cultural aunties and uncles and neighbors telling you that you can't do it and why do you think you're the person who's going to be able to do it? And how wrong it is that you're dreaming to do something that hasn't been done before. So you're dealing with so many things, which is why today, when a young girl wins a medal for our country or wins a tournament for our country, it means so much more because they are not only fighting the battles on the court, they are fighting so many off it. And honestly, for me, it brings me so much pride to see. And I'm not a man hater or anything. I mean, I'm a feminist, but I don't hate men. That's not the point. But the thing is that when a woman, like our biggest superstars outside of cricket today are women in sport. And that's a fact. That was not the case 25 years ago. Today we have a Sindhu, we have a Saina, we have a Mary Kom, we have a Sakshi Malik, we have a Deepa Karmakar. I mean, we could not even name more than P.T. Usha for the last 50 years. So we've come a long way. We still have a long way to go.
Thank you so much for that wonderful answer. I'm still getting goosebumps as I hear it. I've heard this story before, I've read this story, but I can tell you, if you're not getting it, I think you're looking at your phone, which is not allowed today. So thank you so much for being such a big sport. I'm also going to get paid based on the number of claps, so please keep doing that. Can you have one more, please? Thank you so much. But I think it's an incredibly difficult journey. One other thing which I want to ask you, you've done incredible feat. You're winning so many medals, being awarded, Padma Bhushan, Padma Shri, 14 medals at all level, all that. How does it feel to be a celebrity, and what do you miss just being a celebrity?
I mean, it obviously feels great. I think people will lie if they say that they don't want to be a celebrity and acknowledge why we all work in our lives to be acknowledged for what we do and, to be accepted and all those things. And, but like everything else, everything has its pros and cons in life. And of course, people see the glitz and the glamour and the walking of red carpets and the photo shoots that happen. But, the kind of work that goes into getting there, of years and years of battle, and also the lack of privacy in today's world. I mean, it is a big thing, with social media being as large as it is, I sometimes miss that. I sometimes miss walking into a restaurant and I don't want to give a picture. I just want to walk there in my pajamas like other people in track pants and just go and not really care. I mean, but as with social media and everybody's phones like this and, like constantly you're eating and you're like, and like the people are like taking a picture and they're acting like we don't care that you're Sania Mirza, but they're still taking the picture, So like we don't want, like sometimes we want a break. And that's probably the thing that I miss. But like I said, I'm so grateful for everything that, because this is a life choice that I have made. And I was lucky enough to be put in this place. So I'm not going to sound ungrateful and say, yeah, I mean, because of that, I don't like being, I love being a celebrity and I love everything that goes with it. But there are some things that I don't like about it. And I think I'm allowed to, because I'm also human while being a celebrity.
Of course, you're a human. Thank you so much. And it's all our love, which sometimes makes you feel uncomfortable. So if you feel that, I think you just should...
No, I don't mind the love. I hate the whole like, we don't care. And then they're like under the table and they're taking this picture. And then you tell them, because you sometimes go up and you're like, please delete the picture. It's not nice to like, you're sitting with someone or it's a private dinner, whatever, with your child. Like people come up to me, believe it or not, and they ask for a picture with my 4-year-old. Oh. And I'm like, are you a creep? Like, why do you want a picture with a 4-year-old toddler? Like, it's weird. And when I say no, they're like, you're so arrogant. I'm like, I'm just a mother, So those are things that as being a celebrity, I think people don't really get. But I mean, it's, it's part of the deal. So it's fine.
All right, we're going to get into our second fun session, which is going to be easier than the last one. And the pretext is that when Sania was asked, saying, what would she be doing if she was not playing tennis, if she had to choose an alternate career, and correct me if I'm wrong, I was told that you wanted to be a doctor.
I actually want to be an interior. I wanted to be a doctor when I was like 8, but today I want to be an interior designer. I've wanted to be an interior designer for the last 15 years.
Wow, you want to be an interior designer? So many companies here in this room actually do a lot of technology, augmented reality, metaverse, and many other things. They can actually work with you to make a lot better than what possibly humans can do. So it's augmented AI, all that which NASSCOM is proposing. So thank you so much for being that. But we are going to ask you an 8-year-old Sania who wanted to be a doctor because... Sorry, I'm prepared, okay? So, what to do? I wasn't prepared for an interior designer question, okay? I'm a human too, right? Only you can't be allowed to be a human. All right, so, okay, I'm going to ask you a question. So,
I know, but can you improvise or you can't?
I certainly can improvise. But that improvisation will not be good, so I'm not going to try that, okay? Okay, so I'll try and improvise as well, but let me first go with what I have prepared, okay? So.
Okay, I wanted to be a doctor, guys.
Okay, all right.
That's what his note says. I want to be a doctor, okay? Yeah, okay.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for being nice. So I'm going to tell you some Hindi songs, and you got to tell me as a doctor...
as a doctor, okay.
What disease this person who wrote this song had. So the song is...
very weird segment.
Very weird. The song is Bidi Jalaile Jigar Se Piya Jigar Mein Badi Aag Hai.
Acidity, I think.
Acidity,
Yeah.
very good. Round of applause for her. Okay, I'm going to ask you, Gulabi aankhein jo teri dekhi, sharabi ye dil ho gaya. Conjunctivitis.
You want to be a doctor? Well, we're going to go with this beautiful lady's conjunctivitis.
Thank you so much. Conjunctivitis is the right answer. And the third one, and hopefully the last one on this one, because I'm going to improvise as well if I go along.
Oh, this is your improvised
No,
stuff.
no, no, this is not improvised. I'm not yet. See.
Oh, you haven't yet improvised.
Not yet.
Okay. Phew. Okay.
Okay. बिजली गिराने मैं हूँ आई कहते हैं मुझको हवा हवाई.
Monsoons, like, but what doctor, what happens? I don't know. Gases.
Yes, gastric trouble. Okay, now let's move to the improvised version. So you want to do.
Oh, it's not over?
It's not over.
Okay.
You wanted to be an interior designer. Tell us, in your world of tennis, technology is helping a lot in terms of interior designing. In fact, we are seeing a lot of things which you normally used to do. So, for example, if you were to design a new home, you no longer have to take measurements, you no longer have to do many things. Technology does a lot. So, you can do scanning, you can redesign, you can templatize, and all of that. If you were to bring in a technology to the game of tennis, what kind of technology would you like to bring?
I mean, there's already so much technology in tennis, you know. I mean, we recently and that's probably what I would also bring in, but recently we were playing at a tournament in Indian Wells, and they had this, I mean, they've obviously always had a speedometer for the serve, but now they had this meter where you basically could tell how much spin you had on your forehand, how many miles per hour average you were hitting by, how many times the ball was actually turning before it's bouncing, how hard is it bouncing, and then how much speed is it losing after it bounces. And, you know, that kind of technology, if we had like 25, 30 years ago, I mean, you can't imagine what kind of improvements people could make with their games. And like, what more data and you can actually, you know, before, we used to physically go watch our opponents play and like, okay, this is this person's weakness, and write it down and be. Now you just get that data, and you're like, okay, on a 30-40 break point, this person usually goes on the out wide side. They have the data for how many times the person has gone wide on a break point down. I mean, it's incredible, the kind of technology that's there. And I'm sure, like, now we don't have linesmen anymore, right? We just play with, like, basically it's computer all over the place. Like, there's basically only one umpire. He's just putting in the scoring. And eventually it's going to get to no umpire, right? It's going to just get to, like, us just going and showing up and playing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I actually can't imagine what more technology we can have. Like, the next thing, the rackets will be attached to our hands or something, and it's all happening by itself. I mean, who knows? You know, but like, this kind of data is so good to use for us as athletes, because we can not just scout, but also improve so much. Knowing, okay, my backhand has 20 miles less than my forehand. So you work more on this. You know, it shows you how fast you're running towards the front of the court, how slowly you're running to the back. You can improve on that. So, you know, this kind of technology is like, I actually just played with it. So, like, it was, you know, incredible.
Wonderful. I think I would take that there's a lot which has happened in tennis by technology, but I wouldn't be surprised that there's a very little which has happened so far.
Yeah.
In a room full of technologists, I have a huge hope that technology will change this game even more than what it has changed before. You talked about some of those data analytics, you talked about augmented capabilities. I think the entire thing, just from learning how to play, getting better at how you play, simulate. So I think at least I have the huge hope in this room, and thank you, Sania, for being a big support of how you use technology, and you said you just played with it, so I'm very hopeful. I want to turn a little bit about the business of technology and the leadership in technology, which is what NTLF is all about. We're going to ask you some questions about, you know, how do you relate? Are there some learnings for us to take that how do you learn from the game of tennis? Because I see you play against the opponent in singles, and then you also play doubles with the people who you played against. So how do you build that level of trust that two of you work in tandem, sometimes when you're an opponent and sometimes you're actually playing together? So how do we build the level of trust in this partnership?
So I think that you're right. It's very difficult. The first thing is to compartmentalize. I think that's very important, because you have to be able to compartmentalize and differentiate, because at the end of the day, you are all competitors, And some of them, I mean, I used to play with one partner all the time, so I wasn't really changing too many partners on a weekly or monthly basis. But I think that to know that when the person is on the other side of the net, it's you against that person. That's the differentiation you need to make. And whereas in a partnership, when, like, for example, I've played some matches against Martina, but at that point we didn't play together. We only came together much later. And when we played together, we, at one point, after about 4 or 5 months into us playing, we had so much trust in each other's abilities that many times we wouldn't even have to tell the other person what we are going to do. They kind of sort of already knew. Because that's the kind of, and again, I'm going to use the word, we would consolidate the strengths that we had, and the weakness she had, I would cover, and the weakness I had, she would cover. And that's what made us the greatest team, because we were not that we got rid of our weaknesses suddenly. We were just hiding them well within each other. So, you know, she was really good at the net, I was really good from the back. So we placed ourselves in a way where more often than not, I would not be at the net. I would be at the back of the court and she would be at the net. And somehow we would create play, you know, just as a small example, where that formation would happen. So by that time, we became so used to it that the minute something was like a 4-all, 30-all point, which is like a high pressure point, we knew exactly what we were going to do. And probably the opponents knew what they were going to do too. But our trust in our abilities was so high and we was that much better than the other people. So that's one. The second thing is, I think that we just, as an athlete, I can tell you guys, that when you are winning that much, you know, we were on a 40+ match winning streak. We didn't lose for 6 months, you know, and when you're winning that much, we are going on the court. It's not even arrogance. It's almost just, we knew we were going to win the match. We felt invincible in those moments. And that kind of invincibility, as an athlete, any athlete will tell you, they dream of. To feel that, to feel like you're in the zone.
Right.
But that does come from just helping each other and trusting each other on the court, and yeah, I mean, standing each other off the court for some dinner or something, but yeah, more so on the court.
But I really like the way you said that, the trust, hiding weaknesses, working together. I do want to say again here, I don't get paid for doing that, but I think NASSCOM is doing exactly the same. It's building the trust, not just amongst the industry and the customer, but also within the industry. So I'm very, very delighted to say that, you know, how we have been able to come together, and also sometimes hiding our weaknesses and putting up a very strong face. Our time is up, but I'm okay if you are okay to stretch for 5-7 minutes. If you guys are okay to stretch for 5-7 minutes, can you please clap? Thank you so much. Okay, I'm just getting my points. Okay. We just had a session today about how technology is enabling us to get to live 120 years. What would Sania be doing at the age 80?
At the age 80?
80.
Ooh. Yeah.
You won't need a Sania to do interior design when she
Yeah.
turns 80.
Or I could be a doctor.
You will need a doctor.
Hopefully I would still, well, let's see, there's a few things. Hopefully I'll still be fit enough to hit some tennis balls. That's the first thing. I hope we don't have to sit and have conversations about whether a girl should play sport or should not play sport. So I hope when I'm 80 that happens. I mean, that's a pretty solid number, I think, for 50 years, 44 years. And yeah, honestly, I think that I will be involved with sport, whichever capacity that is, if I'm still alive.
Sportsman is always a sportsman.
Yeah.
So person, sorry, sports person. Okay.
It's
Alright.
okay, it's okay.
Yeah. If you stay as interior designer for a long time, what I've learned is that you have to be very customer.
Can you decide what I am? Like,
You have to decide.
am I an interior designer or am I a doctor?
You are a tennis player.
Okay, I was.
Okay, just one thing that I told the organizers before I started that there are some things which I know about Sania which she has forgotten. Does somebody remember that? That's one thing you've forgotten, that you're still a tennis player. You may not play professionally, but you're still a tennis player. Okay. All right, so I've learned that in the game of, or in the world of interior designing, don't give me that looks.
Just
the-
before we came on stage, he said, "Can you be quirky?" So I said,
Yes.
"Okay, I'll try." you
Okay,
know.
can you be less quirky? No, you can be more quirky. Okay, no, stay there, we're enjoying it. Okay, in the world of interior design, you have to be very customer centric. You have to understand, you have to be nice to them. It's a services industry, right? And I've learned that you have a very aggressive gameplay. How do you deal with your customers? This is my improvisation. Okay, guys, can you give me a clap?
I feel like it's a pity clap, but okay. No, I can be pleasant.
Okay.
Yeah.
When? I'll come back then.
I'm an honest person, you know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty black and white, but I think I can be pleasant, yeah, with a little bit of humor.
You can fake to be customer centric.
No,
Okay.
I can't. That's one thing I can't do
Can't
is
do,
fake,
okay.
because if I could fake, I wouldn't land up in so much trouble that I have in the last 20 years. But no, I cannot fake anything. But I can be pleasant. I'm a pleasant person.
All right.
You're getting the worst out of me now.
Okay. Are you familiar with Chat GPT?
I am.
Oh, wonderful. Would you like your son to use Chat GPT
I
for
do
homework?
not.
You do not. Okay, so Fluid AI guys, one
Not
customer
at
down.
4. No, I do not want him to use it for his homework. I do want him to use it eventually in life. Why would I want him to use it for his homework?
Very good, very good.
I mean, he'll be really dumb if he's only going to use ChatGPT where he doesn't need to do anything.
Very responsible use of ChatGPT. So all those out there, responsible use of ChatGPT. Don't ask ChatGPT a question saying, "What should I be asking Sanya?" Okay, we're going to have the rapid fire.
I told you I'm honest, right?
Very honest, very honest, very honest. We're going to have a rapid fire here. So all of you guys are going to play along with Sanya. I have some questions to her, and I'll ask her about her choices. So your choices have to match her. So it's not your choices. You have to predict the results of her choices. Mentimeter on, please, and you'll have few questions. And you won't answer till the people have answered. All right? So hide the results, and there are going to be some Mentimeter questions. Okay? And whoever wins, guys, be serious, whoever wins, there are top 7 winners will get a ball signed by Sanya. So she's done the honors for us. So if you really want to win an autographed tennis ball, please pay attention. Okay, so get to the menti.com 65070631 or scan this code. Okay, all right. I've got how many people here? I can't read that far from without my glasses. Okay, all right. So can we get the first question, please? Those who have not yet got it, they're not agile enough to be in tech industry. You can't scan it? Okay, can you just, okay, there are a little bit more. So you can go to menti.com. Don't scan it. Menti.com. And the code is 65070631. So while people are actually getting onto that, I have one, no, I think I'll not ask that question. Okay, so we got everybody here.
You can ask other questions.
I can ask other questions, and you'll keep tapping the ball and make me
No,
continue to make me
I
feel
was actually-
distracted.
I already
This is your trick to distract me?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So the question is, if you could play doubles with any player in the history, who would you play with? All right, so we got about how many responses? Perfect. So let's now stop the polling. And yes, Sanya, your response. Steffi Graf. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Perfect. She has to answer the question. Don't show the responses. I asked her the question
Can
before.
I answer now?
Yeah, you can answer.
Yeah, Steffi Graf.
Steffi Graf. Okay, wonderful. So those of you who said Steffi, about 123 of you out of 180. Good. Next question, please. Question 2. Yes, wonderful. 200 people ready here to play. Okay. What's your favorite tournament to play in? Don't answer, please.
I'm not.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Now you could answer.
Done?
Yeah.
Wimbledon.
Wimbledon. Wonderful. Show the results, please. Wimbledon. Very good. People really know you. Third question. Okay, third question. Favorite surface to play on? Okay, you can answer now.
Hard.
Hard surface. I know you're hard. Very hard.
That was a googly by me because because my favorite tournament's Wimbledon,
Yeah.
but I chose hard.
Yeah, since you tricked 150 people to go wrong.
150 smart people. That
Okay, go next. Fourth question, just let's go faster. What's
Do I
your
need to
favorite-
answer this question?
I think everybody knows this. If they don't know this.
If they don't know this, then
don't
I'm
need to
leaving,
be-
guys.
Yeah. Okay, all right, let's get to the results in a second. Hyderabad. Oh my God, about 55 people went wrong.
Yeah. That's correct, Hyderabad.
Yeah. Fifth question. Yeah, that's a tricky one.
Yeah, even I was confused when I was answering. Can I answer it? No.
No, not right now, not right now. So just to tell you, it's a tricky one because she did not know the right answer. We actually put some AI behind it to actually figure out how many minutes of that app she's used in the last 7 days. Oh my God, people are like really confused as you were.
I actually put ticks on both of them, WhatsApp and Instagram, and I was like, oh, maybe WhatsApp a little bit more than Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those of you who felt Instagram got cheated again, that's the external face. Okay, sixth question. Let's go quickly. Maybe we'll just stop at question 6. We might not have time to go for all of them. And then we'll stop. So this is the last question for the console. Which athlete is your role model? David Beckham, Sachin Tendulkar, or Steffi Graf? Hard one, very hard question. Oh, that's Sachin Tendulkar. So you got, yeah.
I said Sachin?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Sachin.
Yeah, Sachin Tendulkar. So she was as confused, so it's okay. We can't give.
Did I?
Okay, so we will show the leaderboard after I finish in 2 minutes. So thank you so much for playing with us. Thank you so much. You've been a wonderful sport. Last set of 2 questions before I let you go, Sonia. How has it been coming back after being a mother to such an intense game?
Well, it's been tough. I mean, that's the first word that comes to it because I think sport, especially, like I'm sure there are more professions, but sport especially requires you to be in your top physical shape. And, when you get pregnant, I, for one, put on 23 kilos when I got pregnant. And I was like breathing and I was putting on a kilo. I was like, what's going on? And I didn't announce retirement. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make this comeback. But I didn't know how my body was going to react and everything, right? So it was obviously very difficult first to shed the weight and then actually getting fighting fit in a position and putting your body in a position where you're able to play, and then being a full-time mother as well, which any working mother will tell you how difficult it is, no matter what you do. And my job requires me to travel 25 weeks a year. How do I take an infant at that point and then a toddler to different places, traveling, time zones? Then the mom guilt kicks in where you're like, oh, he's in the room. Like, what am I doing? How can I be selfish? And that every mother will tell you will have that mom guilt. And so there's so many aspects to it, right? Not just the physical aspect. But one of the reasons, there were a few reasons why I came back. One of the reasons was I felt like I still had top level tennis left in me, which I was obviously right about. Second reason was that I feel that we are all put in here in our lives for a much bigger reason than just, I'm not put in here in this world to hit tennis balls and win tennis matches or lose tennis matches. I think there's a larger reason that I'm here. There's a reason that I have, 30 million people following me on social media. It cannot just be because I'm a tennis player. It is much larger than that. And we have to try and do whatever we can by how blessed we are, and I am, to be put in this position where we have to make a difference. And for me, it was important because I feel that a lot of mothers, new mothers, young mothers, give up on themselves as soon as they have a child. And they feel that because there's so much like guilt around it, right? Like, oh, but you're leaving the child alone? Oh, like you're going away? Oh, he's so small or she's so small. What are you going to do? But the same question is not asked to the men, for example. It's given that the man is just going to go and there's no paternity leave. There's only maternity leave. There's some places now that are having paternity leave. So it was to prove that, you can still be a great mother, you can be a great human being, you can still follow your dreams, do what you love, be good at it, and it does not make you selfish. It does not make you a bad person, just because you decide to do what you love, because your child will respect you so much more when he or she grows up, knowing that my mother did follow her dreams and didn't stop their lives because I was born. I think that we somehow, that's a very blurred line, and we have to find it. But having said that, does not mean mom's guilt is not real. That always will be there. So that was also part of a very big reason why I wanted to make that comeback.
Thank you so much, Sania. There's one thing which I've loved the most about today's conversation is that we will never not have the mom guilt. Those of you who are mom, I'm a pop guilt. So I do have that. I think in some ways we all have, but that doesn't mean that we don't do it. I think our technology industry suffers from losing a lot of women who don't come back. And I think a lot of it is obligation on the many men in the room to create that environment, to create that level of bringing back together. So this is my request to all of you. I think make sure, I think women have this superpower to give birth.
I think the support system is everything. I know we're out of time, but I mean, I think the support, like if I didn't have the support system that I had, I could not obviously do it. But having said that though, I think, I think we're in 2023. I don't think we need to put women in a guilt trip because they want to follow their dreams. I think we should be over that by now, like, I mean, women are doing all kinds of, they're going to the moon. I don't think we need to sit and tell them, oh, you've had a child and you are not breastfeeding, but you're going to go, like, oh my God, who's taking care of it? The nanny? I mean, yeah, it's okay. I mean, he'll survive for 3 hours without me, it's okay. So I just think that we need to move forward in life. And yeah, it's women like us who have to talk about it.
Thank you so much, Sania. One last question from my side. What's your message to the many parents in this room?
I mean, I think I think there's a lot more people who are much more experienced than me in life. So I don't feel right that I should give a message, but I just think that I can just share my experience that being a parent is obviously the greatest joy that anyone can have, and we can all have, male or female. And we have to let them live their dream. Their life is their life, our life is our life. We cannot being a tennis player, everybody, even when I got pregnant, the first question is, when I announced my pregnancy, my entire social media was filled by, so what is he going to play, cricket or tennis? What is she going to play, cricket or tennis? I'm like, guys, I'm 3 months pregnant. Like, can you relax? Yeah. So, there's so much pressure that the child needs to do and follow in the footsteps and of what the parents do. And even now, the minute, any place today in the plane, they were asking, like people were sitting next to me, so does he play cricket or tennis? I was like, actually, he plays the guitar, guys. Like, so I just let them do what they love and let them be their own person. They'll figure it out. You just need to support them unconditionally.
Let them do what they like. Thank you so much. Sania, it's been an incredible honor for me personally to talk to you. I must say this is a milestone in my personal and professional life. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Thanks.
You are an incredible person to have the combination of grit, humor, wittiness, intelligence, everything. You saved me for sure. While I had said that the number of claps will determine how successful the show is, I said the number of laughs will determine how successful I am as a person. So thank you so much for making...
You made this all about yourself. I like it.
Yeah. See, I'm actually a spotlight.
Oh, typical man. Woohoo!
But truly, I think you've broken barriers, you've done many things. I think if there's one takeaway I'll have for our technology industry is that there is nothing which you cannot achieve. Your career is an example of so many challenges, so many difficulties, playing a sport which people don't understand in India, playing a sport, being a girl, playing a sport at a level which nobody could have imagined. I'm sure if you went back 30 years ago, if you were asked this room saying that, would we ever have NASSCOM talking to a world-class tennis player? I don't think that anybody would have said yes. So thank you so much for being Sania, and thank you very much for sharing your time with us. Thank you for your wonderful messages.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
For more interesting content, like, comment and subscribe to our NASSCOM YouTube channel.